遇见有趣的灵魂，活出真实的自己。大家好，欢迎来到谈心社，让我们一起谈心、谈情、谈音乐。Welcome to GenerousTalk, an intercultural conversation on music, health, and lifestyle. Enjoy. See what we brought in today. We have Tim Core, Timothy Core.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
He was a guest on the season 2 and is also my Berklee buddy when I was studying at Berklee College of Music therapy program. So now Tim is joining us to also make some sound for our audience who will be listening to this.
Hello, this is sound. This is what my voice sounds like. Smooth as butter.
Yeah, so so Tim will be more involved with our season 2, and we together are starting to creating like YouTube channels, like TikTok, Instagram, and in the Chinese community, we'll also launch a yearly pass for our Chinese followers, and in the English world, we are setting up a Patreon community so that people can engage in different levels. And I love community. I love community music therapy.
Yeah. Actually, community music therapy mean like when you're especially like socializing, like focusing on like those social kind of goals.
Yeah, there are like socialized goals, like how to connect, and I also see there are breaking down isolation. That's what people are suffering now because the pandemic, and still trying to build the normal, like the new normal, like what the life looks like, right? And with this wonderful new technology world, like everybody is kind of forced into, but kind of start to find the benefit of it, and we are finding the benefit of it with the podcast, with the I hope with the Patreon community. It's new experiment for me, to build this virtual online community that's cross the borders, connect people all over the world. Yeah, excited.
Yeah, I really admire that, that you're really going for this. I think this is really fantastic. We talked a little bit, I think it was last month, a little bit about some of the projects that you're doing. And I thought that you going for this kind of project where you're really trying to connect different people and trying to get people to understand music therapy from a global perspective. I think that's really cool. And I think that's going to bring the field forward, especially because if people can get this kind of like, if people can get this kind of global view, we can all come together to have an idea of what music therapy is. And that's just going to do wonders for music therapy and also wonders for the people that music therapy serves. So I think this is really necessary.
Well, thank you. I started to think about like recently, because towards the end of season 1, I took a little break and think about, okay, what people are getting from it, what are the feedback, and what season 2 might looks like. Especially, we had a lockdown in Shanghai for 3 months. That was really, really restrict, and I started to also see the how it took a toll on people's mental health, and how people feel kind of harder to reconnect again. Some friends told me like, oh, when I got back to the workplace after the lockdown, why everybody is so much more agitated like than before, as if they change part of their personality in some way. And a lot of people are suffering from that, and there are also other people feeling like, oh, I feel I can't concentrate well. Like, am I sick? Like, do I have some kind of unknown disease, and worry? And I see all those are because of a prolonged time of isolation, and it can be a lot of grief also, like loss of normality, lost of what could have happened, right? I think for me, I still grieve over some of it. Like I grieve over like, oh, we could all come together and play music without any worry of whether we can get the virus, or whether it will get canceled because of lockdown, or just all those things like that. Miss those worry-free time. Some people feel like I can't sleep well at night, and since the pandemic, since the lockdown, and I don't know how to get back to normal, like get back to the before time. And and talking with them, I see that's a trauma response, like we have to respond to this collective trauma that we are experiencing since almost 3 years ago.
Yeah, wow, almost 3 years ago. Wow.
I know. I know. And like the big problem is isolation, like people experiencing, because there are so much, you need to take so much more efforts to connect
Mhm.
ever than before. And what if someone is just feeling so down and don't even have that energy to have to reach out, waiting for message back in matching times, and go through all the
Mhm.
barrier. Yeah. And in this moment specific, I find like music, I always feel music is the way that we can connect deeply,
Mhm.
most deeply. For me, that is kind of stemmed from my experience at Berklee. That's how we are able to connect. Like we're from totally different cultural background, like experience, and then I feel it's because I've love for music and because I've love for music therapy, like we are able to become good friends. Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like I feel people in general are naturally very resilient, and that really had to shine through during this pandemic time, this pandemic era. But I think music really supports that resilience, whenever someone's really like going through a difficult time. I know, especially for me, when I'm going through a difficult time, I'm always turning to music. It's always like kind of the saving grace, the thing that just
Mm-hmm.
just hits me, especially if I've gone to like a rock bottom place. It's that kind of like star of hope that kind of starts lifting me up again. And so I really am being lifted to the skies. Oh yeah, love that.
That's
So
me. Like for people cannot see, I have a keyboard. So this is like basically my studio setup, and I teach or work with clients, start to custom to that since 2020, March 2020.
mhm.
And yeah, I was trying to give you some lifting feeling, and like reflect
And it
back
worked. And it worked.
reflect back what you are expressing. Yeah, with the keyboard at my hands.
And for anyone who doesn't know, that's actually a music therapy technique. She just music therapied me on this podcast. She just snuck it in, just snuck it in right there. Just like that's a professional. She can do it effortlessly. She knows
Anytime.
the anytime. She could probably sneak it into a family dinner.
Oh man. Family dinner. I I think people have different image of family dinner.
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
that's another like big topic.
Mhm.
Anyway, so today it's a brief review of what we have done, and then more importantly, a forecast of what we are going to do in season 2. Okay, let's talk about the guests. And so season 1 was a very, very spontaneous, like for me. I
Mhm.
had a very big vision like for the future to connect the East and West, like this entire world over music. And I see is how I transform to be. I see myself as global citizen, and like both like the Chinese culture, the language, and the English culture and language, like just all kind of merge together, and want to kind of share that experience. And I see, in this a bit spinning, crazy world, like chaotic in a lot of ways, and also like tied with like trauma response. Like there are two like typical way. Like one way is we kind of isolate because it's unsafe. We just want to shrinking into our like comfort zone, like what we knew, to that corner to protect ourselves, and that really leads to isolation. And then the other way is actually to reach out and try to connect more and expand. And these are like two typical like trauma response. Like, and I see for me, I choose the second one, and I can totally see like the podcast kind of is an extension of this effort to reach out and connect more. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think I was kind of the opposite a little bit, to where I go inwards, but I really, what was interesting is I found, um, when I have those kind of traumatic experiences, I go through a very, very deep transformation, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Very transformative, and very, at least in my own experience, very deep transformations happen very often in private. For one example, you think of like when a caterpillar goes from being a caterpillar to being a butterfly, right? It
Mm-hmm.
happens in its chrysalis, right? It happens inside that cocoon, inside that crystal. Cocoon and chrysalis are different. So inside the chrysalis, right? And it happens, it's just by itself, and it turns into literal goo, like, and reforms all of its organs, and everything
Yes.
changes there. Um, so for me, that's kind of what happens in a traumatic experience, is like, I go inwards and I become goo and I come out stronger. But again,
Mm-hmm.
it's different for everybody.
Yeah, I think I experienced that period, definitely. For me, it hit hard with March 2020, like Boston start lockdown. The challenging part, especially challenging part for me was, I was serving those very vulnerable community, underserved community in Boston, and all of a sudden, they just don't like. We like, okay, let's still connect like online. But for them, it was hard. It was not really accessible. Like some kid I was helping with, they literally just did not have any devices to connect. There was no means to connect. And the senior I was serving, technology was a challenge for them. And some of them managed to do it. Some of them just could not go through the barrier. And there is not just not enough resources to keep them connected, and that was really heartbreaking for me to see. And when I know that they are actually most vulnerable and most, they need the service the most, even though like we are trying everything we could do to reconnect them, it just there are those barrier that I could not do anything. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing left I could do to help at the moment. So I actually spent an entire month, you can say, in solitude, like turning inward.
Mm-hmm.
And so that month, be with myself, and also was doing like meditation intensively.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting off with like 2 hours, just inner work, meditating, journaling, of course, like playing music as a way to connect with how I feel, and cathartic, like it's cathartic. And that was like in one deep meditation.
Mm.
Like going to the podcast, I wouldn't think of sharing this experience, but it naturally comes to this.
Mhm.
And I, in one meditation, I kind of went into a very deep state, and I was literally hearing a voice,
Mhm.
in a conversation, like talking, and a voice was saying, "She, you've done a very great job, with
Mhm.
pursuing your passion, your talent. You combine all those together. You've been helping people through music therapy and also some other like expressive arts therapy method, and you probably help thousands of people by now with your work, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's a group therapy. You even create new music therapy program for people. That's
Mhm.
awesome. And what if you can help millions and billions of people down the road?"
Mm. And so going from there, it has really transformed into this generous talk, right? You
Yeah.
know, and I'm
Yeah.
really and everyone who's listening to this, I gotta say, I'm so excited for um what's gonna be shared on this generous talk.
Mm-hmm.
The series that we're doing, the guests that we're gonna have, especially, I think are gonna be really a treat and really, really interesting, and maybe help some people kind of shift their own perspectives about things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm so curious. Which series are you most excited for
Yeah,
in
we
the
have
generous?
4 series. Which one I'm most interested? What can I say? I'm interested in all of those. I just
So she got all of them. So we'll
oh
go
yeah.
through all of them. I
Let's
have to say
start.
that
Uh-huh.
Hmm?
Do
Go
you
ahead.
have a favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I'm so excited for the music in me.
Oh, nice.
I
Okay,
think
what is it about?
so the music in me is a series where we're gonna be interviewing people who are non-professional musicians, people who are not music therapists, who are not performers per se, but they have a deep love for music.
Mm-hmm.
They either they really enjoy it, or they enjoy listening to it, or they play music just on their own by themselves. Maybe they
Mm-hmm.
just recently started learning how to play an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to talk with these people and see really how music influences their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Does it influence their relationships? Does it make them more do they feel it makes them more creative? Do they feel it influences how they interact with others at their job?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really interesting concept to explore. How is music really influencing just our regular daily lives?
Yeah. We'll talk about
So
like I think when we were like, planning like inviting the guests and have some brief conversation, we talk about how music can influence your like intimate relationship, your family dynamic, right? How you
mhm,
are able to connect and kind of passing down passion of music and that kind of unity. Uh-huh. Yeah,
mhm.
that's
So I'm
exciting.
super
Yeah.
excited. That's very exciting because to get to like ask other people about that and kind of pick
Mm-hmm.
their brain about it, just it's gonna be I think it's gonna be really cool.
Mm-hmm. And I also see in a lot of the Berklee music therapy people, many of us decide to come into this field just because we had all those touching moments, transformative moment with
Mhm,
music that led us to, okay, how maybe we could use this to help other people as well, or maybe we can even like amplify the power we experienced. And
mhm,
what if we could do it in a scientific way? That's even more exciting. It means we can it's not just we call it like magic. Magic is like, oh, we don't know. It just happened without knowing, but we can actually plan it out and do it over and again to help people.
right.
Yeah. So that leads
Exactly.
to the music therapist interview. That's another series we gonna do. We're gonna bring music therapists who are in the practice and they are on the front line of bringing those power to help people to heal and thrive. We need enough survival, I think, in the world, like the survival reaction that usually it's like, it's anxious, it's like compulsive, it's sometimes we feel we don't have a choice, we just grab on whatever we can grab to survive. We need more thrival in the world, and I think
Yeah,
music therapists are helping with that.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think I'm really excited for the guests that we're gonna have. I mean, you lined up some pretty big names in music therapy
Shall we name?
for yeah.
Should
Should we
we?
name or should we leave let it be a surprise? I think we should let it be a surprise.
Okay.
We
The
should let
the
it be a
top
surprise.
top top. So we will have the top myotherapy veteran, and we'll also have the younger generation who are doing incredible, innovative things in the field.
Exactly. So
Yes.
we're really excited to get to hear from some of the OGs, and then hear from all of these new people who have very innovative, creative ideas. It's really interesting for these two to come together in one
Yeah.
podcast. You know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and
The
so our listeners can get
diversity. The
exactly.
diversity part. Yes.
And our listeners can get both perspectives and also see maybe we can get some of our older music therapists to kind of talk about a little bit of the history, where music therapy came from, and then
Yes.
listeners can really see what's happening now and kind of where it's going, which is really interesting.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. That's definitely already scheduled.
Mhm.
The history,
So that,
especially for me, that's so interesting. Like, become interested in music therapy because a lot of the work I was doing in Shanghai, and then went to Boston, Berkeley, and studied with people from over 100 different countries and cultures. And then now coming back and be the trailblazer in China and see those like cross-cultural perspective and also see music therapy in different countries developing a different stage.
mhm.
And yeah, I am very curious to the episode that will be talking with people who are in the United States who were the trailblazer to
Mhm.
establish music therapy in the US and kind of compare with that my current experience in China. That would be so wow, fascinating.
Okay, I've got chills. I'm so ready for that. I think
Yeah.
it's
Mm-hmm.
really and then additionally, so that's two of the series. And
Mm-hmm.
then gosh, we also have was it the we just the name of it. It's the
Trendy.
Trendy. Yes, exactly. Trendy. I don't know
Yes.
why I was thinking something with an S, but trendy. So trendy is really, really interesting. Both Xingyu and I at different points will be sharing our views of current events, but through the lens of music therapist. So how are these events maybe affecting people psychologically?
And maybe
You know,
what are the coping skill or what are the tips we can, action we can do to
exactly,
navigate. Yeah.
exactly.
Mm.
So that's going to be, I think if you're looking for some interesting perspectives from us as music therapists, then definitely tune into Trendy for sure.
Mm-hmm. We sort
And then,
of talk about it some talking about some today with like, dealing with the pandemic and
true,
impact.
true,
Yeah.
true. And then we also have the literature, literature.
Literature uncovered.
There we go, literature uncovered. And this is for our real like people who are like kind of interested in like the sciencey background of music therapy. So we're gonna basically be taking research that's in music therapy and we're gonna go through it
Mm-hmm.
with with you all, so we can take it apart and really get into the nitty-gritty details of what goes into creating the research that is the foundation and the support of music therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and through that you can really see kind of the magic that's behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The idea of that series kind of comes from my experience studying the psychology of music and music medicine class with our beloved Kathleen Holland,
We
Dr.
love
Kathleen Holland. Yeah, we love her.
Kathleen. We love you.
And yeah, we love you. It was so fascinating for me. I think, okay, so backtrack a little bit. It was, so for me at 15 years old, I was clear that I want to be a musician. I just love music. I want to express and play with people and compose. And I'm interested in people. I'm interested in how people behave, how we interact, what makes a healthy relationship and what makes us happy. I want to be a psychologist. And I also have another part that's a scientist self that just like constantly asking why, what's happening, like why this works and how does this work? What exactly is the, let's say, therapeutic effect? What exactly is it a word I say? Is it the note I play that change? Is it the relationship we build that make the change happen? And what happens in our brain? Can we measure it? And can we do qualitative research and quantitative research at the same time? And how do I write a report and actually share with more people? Like just that scientist part of me
A
is just
very,
always,
very inquisitive
yeah,
mind,
yeah.
And I think this will be a great series for all the really inquisitive minds out there, and I know there are so many.
Uh-huh. The scientist me self was very satisfied in the class with Kathleen Holland. So we're kind of
Me too,
okay,
me
like
too. Yeah, very
bring
much.
that kind of experience now to you, to our audience.
Oh, sorry, say it again.
I said now we're gonna bring those experience to you, to our audience.
Oh, okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
I saw it to you, like, to our audience,
Yes, yes, yes.
to who are
Yes.
listening now.
So we're so excited for everyone to experience these series. We really hope that you're going to tune in and embark on this journey with us. And we're just going to do our best to bring you the real authentic perspectives and facets of music and music therapy in the world.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, please join the Patreon, and you can pick which level you like, how you want to engage with us, and also engage with community. Because a lot of times, I know you're listening to our podcast like from all over the world, like different places. We hope that this is a community that people share the same passion of music, health, society, and can come together. You can not only learn from us or inspired by us, I believe you will inspire by each other as well. And the Patreon community, we hope that become the place. And we need you to build it together. Any feedback, anything on your mind, we love to hear.
Exactly, exactly. And if you're just curious about what we're doing in general, like what kind of upcoming guests we're going to have, and anything of that nature, please check out our social media. We have Instagram, and also we have a TikTok as well. The TikTok's so popular.
I mean, TikTok is built upon music. That's how it's become so popular.
Exactly, and we are musicians and music therapists. So please follow Generous Talk on Instagram and on TikTok, and we'll do our best to keep you updated about what's up and coming. So that way, if you can get really excited about something, and also if you'd like to join. There's one level of the Patreon where you can actually join in on the sessions. So
Yes.
if there's a particular guest that you're really interested in engaging with, then you might want to keep up with the Instagram and just see who's coming, and then you can prepare questions and all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, keep up with the Patreon, right?
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yes. So we do open recording session with our guests. So that's where audience, if you join the Patreon community, you can join and ask questions live and interact with the guests with us live. You will also have all the recordings available to you to rewatch, reflect on, and get more deep diving. Yes.
Exactly. So please join us. We're so excited to have you. All right.
This global community. Yes, awesome. Okay, we'll see you next time.
We'll see you on the journey.
On the journey.
I'll see you on the journey. There we go. All right, everybody take care.
Okay, see you. 感谢你的收听，我们下一期不见不散。